Ciao! I'm really glad that you clicked on this video because it means that you're not going to make the same mistake that most people make when they start learning Italian, which is to ignore la pronuncia. If you want to communicate smoothly and make yourself understood, studies actually show that pronunciation can be more important than things like grammar and vocabulary. That's why I'm going to try to teach you the essentials of Italian pronunciation in one video. And as a non-native speaker myself, I've actually had to learn how to pronounce sounds in Italian. So I'll share what worked for me, and hopefully that will work for you too. What should I do after he says
I quite like the cheesy look at the camera, but it's up to you if you want. How many do you have?
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Bob Ross. No, really.
Cominciamo con le vocali. Let's start with the vowels. Vowels are really important in Italian, and they're actually really fun to pronounce, but you've got to get your mouth moving as much as possible. In English, we tend to really eat our vowels, so we'll say things like opera, whereas in Italian, every vowel is really important, like in
Opera, opera.
You have to really concentrate on enunciating every vowel, and that's part of what gives Italian its really nice musical quality.
When I listen to English speakers speaking in Italian, I want to say, open your mouth, apri la bocca.
Italian is really animated in this way, so don't be afraid to mimic the big vowels and have fun with it. Remember to keep them really sharp and clear as well. So in English, they tend to slide all over the place a little bit. So we say no, while Italians say
No, no.
So this letter in Italian is O. It's not O, it's O. And this letter in Italian is U. It's not U, it's U.
Tu, tu.
If you only learn one thing from this lesson, remember to make your Italian vowels really clear and strong. It's quick to learn and it will make a huge difference to your Italian. And remember that in Italian, the letter I is pronounced as E. For example, in the word mi, which means me. And the letter E is pronounced as E. For example, in the word bene, which means well. E, E. E, 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 E. And speaking of E, there's one small, nerdy, but very important detail to pay attention to, and we'll talk about that at the end of the video. For now, let's move on to consonants with the GN combo, like in the word lasagne. It's kind of like an N followed by a Y, but to make it sound really, really Italian, you want to be sure to push your tongue up flat against the roof of your mouth. So lasagne, lasagne. You can also practice with gnocchi, Italian potato dumplings, gnocchi, gnocchi, and bagno, which means bathroom, bagno, bagno. That, of course, is part of the most useful Italian phrase, dov'è il bagno? Where's the bathroom? Next is the GLI combo in words like voglio. And this is quite similar in the sense that it's like an L followed by a Y, but to make it sound really Italian, be sure to, again, squish your tongue up against the roof of your mouth. Voglio, gli, gli, voglio. Now try saying famiglia, family, famiglia, famiglia, or bottiglia, bottle, bottiglia. The Italian R. Did you know that not all Italian R's are rolled? In fact, the single Italian R is actually pronounced pretty much the same as the double T in the American pronunciation of words like better, better. The Italian word for to drink is bere, bere. So you can start with the American pronunciation of better, better, and then gradually move over to the Italian bere, bere, better, bere, better, bere. This is the same with the word matter, matter. Sounds a lot like the Italian word mare, which means the sea. So you can train yourself. matter, matter, mare, mare. Keep doing that and you'll see that you can probably do the single Italian R without too many problems. Try this again. So let's go back to better, better, bere, bere. This time, try to pay attention to your tongue. So where is it and what's happening when you say better and bere? Notice how it actually flicks up and down really, really quickly on that ridge behind your teeth. So keep this in mind because you'll need this for the next sound. And again, Americans, I'm really, really sorry for my terrible accent, but bear with me for the lesson.
Come on, concentrate.
Okay. Improving your pronunciation can help you communicate much more easily in Italian. In our online Italian school, we focus on the things that matter most. For example, making yourself understood and using local sounding phrases. To find out more, click the link in the description or here. Bye.
Next, the double R. Now, this one is rolled, but with practice, you can probably learn how to do it. Because I remember that I thought that I would never be able to learn how to roll my R's, but after a lot of practice, and then some more practice, and then a lot more practice, sometimes sounded like a flushing toilet. I eventually managed to learn how to do it. Questo caffè è marrone. How? Well, remember the Italian single R in words like bere? Try and get that feeling again. Remember how your tongue flicks up and down really quickly behind the teeth. Bere. Next, with the same speed and lightness, try to pronounce the letters tada, 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 tada really quickly. And relax your tongue as much as possible. The more you relax it, the more it will start to sound like the Italian r. Tada, 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 r, r, r. Once you can do that, try putting it in some words. For example, in birra, birra, beer, and arrivare, arrivare, arrive. Keep in mind that this one took me a really long time to learn, so it does require a lot of practice, but don't worry, if you stick with it, you'll get there. Next up, double consonants. And you need to be really careful with these in Italian because they can be the difference between saying year, anno, and anus, anno.
Quanti anni hai?
Ho 37 anni.
Double consonants are longer in Italian. So for example, anno, anno. The double N is really long. You almost want to imagine a little pause in between the two N's. Anno, anno. Another example is the difference between capelli, hair, and cappelli with two P's, which means hats. Capelli with one P, cappelli with two P's. It's a subtle difference and it takes time to learn, but Italians are really friendly, so give it a go anyway. The H sound doesn't exist in Italian, it's always silent. So the word I have is spelt H-O, but it's pronounced O. If you sound like Father Christmas or Santa when you're saying it, as in ho ho ho, that means you're saying it wrong. So get rid of the H and just say O. P, T, and K. This is another small detail, but it will make a big difference to how you sound when you speak Italian. So in English, when we say P, T, and K, loads of air comes out of our mouth. Let's see an example with P. Pepper.
Pepe,
Pepper.
Pepe,
The same is true of K and T. For example, Italians say cacao, cocoa, like this.
cacao, cacao,
Not like this. Cacao, cacao. And they say tutto, everything, like this.
tutto, tutto,
Not like this. Tutto, Tutto. B, d, and g sound much stronger in Italian. It's almost like there's a little nasally buzzing sound before you open your mouth. So b, b. It almost sounds like there's a m in front of it.
Bambino, bambino.
Not like this. Baby, baby. The same is true of d and g. So for example, in Italian we say dado, die, like this.
Dado, dado.
Not like this. Dado, dado. And Italians say the word gag, as in joke. They use the English word sometimes too. They say it like this.
Gag, gag.
Not like this. Gag, gag. Next, the Italian S is quite easy to pronounce as long as you know the spelling rules. Most of the time it's just like the English S, for example, in words like sì, yes, sì, or stesso, the same, stesso, or insalata, salad, insalata. But between two vowels, S sounds like Z, for example, in casa, house, casa, or cosa, thing, cosa, or naso, nose, naso. This raises the question, how do you pronounce this letter? Often it sounds like the t, the ts at the end of the English word cats. For example, in the word pizza, or grazie, thank you, grazie, or colazione, breakfast, colazione. But we also have words like zaino, zaino. Can you hear the difference? It's much stronger and very buzzy, like as though there's a D at the beginning of it. Z, z. And speaking of buzzing things, a great word to practice with is zanzara, mosquito, zanzara. I'm not committed. So how do you know if it's a ts or a z? There are some rules that can guide us a little bit. So for example, words that end in zione, like azione, are always pronounced like ts with the ts. But these rules can get really, really fiddly. And to be honest, over time, you can learn by ear. But if you're feeling really, really nerdy, you can also check the phonetic spelling in a dictionary like this one. Here's another funny little spelling rule in Italian. The letter C is usually pronounced as a hard k sound, for example, in casa or capelli. And unusually for English speakers, this includes the CH combo. So the word CHE, ke, is always pronounced ke. The CH combo is never pronounced like a soft ch as in the English word cheese. It's always k, like in ke. The only time it's pronounced as a soft ch is if it's followed by the letter I or E. For example, in the words ciao or limoncello. G follows the same rules. So it's usually a hard g sound, like in the word spaghetti. The only time it's ever a soft one is if it's followed by the letter I or E. So for example, in the word già, which means already, già, or gesto, which means gesture. Remember that important detail about the letter E in Italian that we talked about before? Well, the word and in Italian is e, with a closed jaw. It's known as a closed e.
E.
To say it is in Italian, we have an open e. Can you see the difference? So closed, my jaw's a little bit more closed. So e.
Brody e Katie. Brody è un cane.
In this case, the little accent pointing down on the e shows that it's open. Now, you'll find closed e and open e in other Italian words as well, and annoyingly, the accent isn't usually there to show us the difference. It's a really confusing detail that can also vary quite a lot from region to region, so you don't need to worry about it too much. For now, just focus on the difference between closed e, and an open e, it is, because that's a really important one that will help you in everyday communication. The same happens with the letter O in Italian. So we've got a closed O in words like occasione, and then we've got an open O in words like opera. Again, this is one of those really teeny tiny details that will come with time as you listen and speak more Italian. Now, for the super nerds among you, there is a way of checking the difference, so to see if a word has an open or a closed vowel. If you look in the dictionary, for the closed e, the phonetic spelling will be like this, and for the open e, it'll be like this. For the closed o, it looks like this, and for the open o, it looks like this. And finally, if I may, I'd like to just share one last teeny tiny nerdy detail. Have you ever noticed how when Italians speak English, they often say the word sleep like sleep? The word sleep in Italian, spelled S-L-I-P, actually means underwear. And we can hear how there's like a Z sound. It's much stronger. So we get sleep, sleep. You can also hear this in the word svegliarsi, which means to wake up, svegliarsi, or sbagliare, to make a mistake, sbagliare. When S is followed by a consonant, it usually sounds like a Z. The only exception for this is if it's followed by a T, a K, or a P. So for example, in the word spesso, it just sounds like a S, spesso. Compare that with sbagliare, spesso, sbagliare, spesso, sbagliare. Woo! So that was a lot of rules for pronouncing Italian, pretty much all of them, I think. And if you're feeling overwhelmed, I don't blame you, so am I. But just remember that this video is here to serve as a reference that you can come back to whenever you want to. You don't need to memorize all the rules in this video, but what I'm really hoping that you take away from it is that you start to notice how words are pronounced in Italian. So try and listen as carefully as possible and then try to copy them in an intuitive way. And remember that you also have to be really patient because pronunciation is really a bit like going to the gym. So your tongue and your mouth muscles, they need time to get used to the new positions. So keep practicing little and often over a few weeks or a few months, and over time you'll really notice a lot of improvements in your pronuncia italiana. E tu? And you? Which Italian word do you find most difficult to pronounce? And which tip did you find the most useful? Leave us a comment and let us know. Ciao!
No, stop, it's fun.
Dopamine again.
Stop it. Right.
Sorry, I'm trying to make it feel natural.
So, the other way actually, not away from the light.